you heard the saying that activity does not equal productivity? Yes, I'm sure you have heard it. Okay, so the real question I wanted to ask you is, if you have heard it and you agree with it, why do you still think that keeping your child or your teenager constantly busy is good for them? Why do you think that it's helping them become more intelligent, more productive, and whatever else you'd like to add to the list? Has it ever occurred to you that rather than productivity, constant activity is actually stifling your teenager's creativity? Okay, for those who are joining us for the first time, my name is Chidozie Eze. I'm a teens coach and author, and this is Teens Success Academy. When was the last time that you sat down with your kid in silence? When was the last time that your teenager just sat down in silence? Without entertainment, without screens, without any form of distractions, just thinking and reflecting. Maybe practicing some kind of meditation. Today I want to talk to you about the importance of boredom, or conversely, the lack of it, because we live in a generation where we have pushed away certain things that helped previous generations with creativity, with productivity, and the likes. So we are experiencing in young people today a lack of boredom and a lack of downtime. We'll explore why boredom is very essential for your teenager and how you can help them bring back the art. Right? Boredom is critical to the life of your teenager. It is the reason I have a book titled The Gift of Boredom. This book is a teenager's guide to unboxing creativity, helping young people to unlock their creativity. So when you fill up your teenager's schedule with activities, we have discussed in one of our previous videos something about overscheduling for teenagers, and you can find the link somewhere around this video if you want to see that. But the challenge with the lack of boredom and downtime is that young people are missing out on a time for reflection. They are always on consumption mode without really ever getting to creating anything. If you recall that as a child, you played outside, you built castles in the sand, you played what are those games that we draw on the sand, and then you threw things, you even played with cashew nuts, played with bottle tops, and things like that. What is happening today is that between schoolwork, between homework and schoolwork and social media and several other activities that fill up the day of a typical teenager, they rarely have unstructured time just to be with themselves. And so these young people are growing up without a proper sense of self-awareness. There's an interesting verse of the Bible that I like. It says that after Jesus Christ has spent some time praying, he called out the 12, who we will later call apostles. But that verse says he called out the 12 that they should be with him and that he might send them. That scripture points to the importance of first practicing presence before practicing activity. When was the last time? The question I asked at the beginning is, when was the last time your child actually practiced being? Just being in their own space and learning who they are, cultivating their inward culture. But today, they have little or no unstructured time to be able to engage in such levels of reflection. And it is affecting their creativity. Creativity does not happen in the midst of noise. Have you ever wondered that you that cannot sing, anytime you enter inside shower, all your singing abilities, all your prowess in choir comes out because you start singing and you do marvelous things, all right? But you know that your some of your best ideas would have come to you in those moments. Some of your best ideas came to you while you were in the shower, while you were sitting in the toilet, while you were just gazing at a sunset or looking out or taking a walk or taking a stroll. Very rarely do you get great ideas in the midst of a very busy schedule. And I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. All right, so part of the conversation today is to remind you of the need to encourage your teenagers to have intentional downtime. And that downtime will include time away from screen activities. It will include time away from structured activities. Let there be time to read, let there be time to do homework, let there be times for assignments, but let there be times for quiet time. Our generation has lost the art of quiet time. And while when I mention quiet time, your mind goes quickly to prayer, which of course is not out of place. Quiet time is a time for you to practice your self-awareness, practice learning about who you really are, what makes you think, what makes you who you are. And I've often said that you need to create a thinking space. I was talking to a parent and she called this thinking corner. You need to create a thinking corner in your house. It could be in your library, it could be at the dining table, it could be practically anywhere, but this is a space where, you know how old people used to have rocking chairs where they just sit down and rock away, sing whatever comes to their mind and say whatever comes to your mind. You need to create such kinds of spaces in your home to help your young person practice self-reflection. Because who was the philosopher that said, an unexamined life is not worth living? So if your child does not learn to examine their lives, examine their thoughts, examine their habits, examine their engagement from time to time, it's they're never going to learn to build that habit. They're never going to learn it as adults, or they're going to struggle with it. The other challenge with a lack of boredom, a lack of downtime, is that your young person is losing touch, if they ever did have one, with their imaginative abilities. So they are experiencing what is called imagination deficit. And it is the idea that the brain needs time to be quiet and connect ideas. In this book, I was discussing, in a small part of the book, I discussed the DMN. The DMN is the default mode network of the brain, and that when the brain is less engaged with processing physical activities, when the brain is less engaged with responding to external stimuli, it gets a chance to do creative daydreaming, creative connections. And in the default mode network, your brain is able to connect ideas that you wanted to think about. And that is why the last thing that your child does before they go to sleep is very, very important to the wellness of their mind and to how they are probably also going to wake up. So if your child is watching horror movies before they go to sleep, no wonder they never have a restful night. What if they were doing some kind of meditation? What if they were doing some kind of reading? What if they were doing some kind of creative thinking before falling asleep? The brain in that mode has time to connect things that you will not really have thought they were related. It is in the DMN that the brain is able to make those connections. Ideas and thoughts and, problem solving happens in that mode. Have you ever wondered why we used to say, when you are struggling to make a decision, have you ever heard somebody say something like, allow me to sleep over it? Allow me to sleep over it is allow me to spend some time giving my brain a chance to brood over this particular thought, this particular idea or subject. The reason is because in the midst of the activity of the day, you're never really able to brood and to think creatively and to come up with creative solutions to whatever problems it is that you might have been discussing. Hence the saying, let me sleep over it. And there's science behind it. There's science behind it because there are a number of studies that reveal how boredom sparks creativity just by allowing the brain to enter that default mode that I described. In that default mode, imagination and problem solving is able to thrive in your faculties. And in my book, I shared stories of famous inventors and artists. I tried to touch on a few different sectors where some of the most influential people in those sectors will give credit of their work and best ideas to being able to spend quiet time, being able to use unstructured time, time out of work, time out of physical activity, time alone, and things like that. So allow your children to get bored. Don't rush to entertain them. When a child is saying they are feeling bored, I see this with parents of toddlers a lot. The next idea that comes to your head is to look for a tablet and give the child one singing head comes out in the tablet and is busy singing and distracting the child's mind. Allow your child to be bored. Allow them to by themselves think about what activities, alternative things that they can do to fill up their time. And then in that state, you can begin to give them creative tools. Apart from screens, you can begin to give them creative tools like puzzles to solve, whether they be physical puzzles or crossword puzzles, or all those kind of puzzles that we have. That's when you can throw your child a Lego to build a Lego, paint something, draw something. All right, and there are countless activities that a young person can do when they are bored. One of my teenagers reached out to me, from outside of the country, and was talking to me after reading my book on overcoming smartphone addiction, and said, I have now come to agree that I am addicted to my phone. I said, okay, so what are we going to do about it? And she, on her own, created a wonderful structure how she wants to begin to overcome smartphone addiction. Because you're always on this thing and you're never really able to come up with something that you can be proud of. And you're complaining of one thing, you're still complaining of the boredom, you're complaining of inability to solve your problems, you're not understanding what's being taught in class, attention span is declining, and several other issues that come with a simple problem: lack of boredom and lack of downtime. Over time, it morphs into a newer problem, which is the state where that child is now dependent on external stimulation. So they have exhausted whatever inner resource that they have. Many teenagers will rely on constant entertainment in order to feel engaged. So that's why you're always refreshing your feed, you're always looking for um, who sent you a chat, you go to groups that you haven't. I see teenagers on the internet, Facebook for instance, and you see a young person's profile and he belongs to 1,000 Facebook groups. Exactly what are you doing inside 1,000 Facebook groups? What? And I'm not kidding, there are people who have more than that. But exactly what are you doing inside more than 1,000 Facebook groups? And why is this dangerous? Because if a child cannot sit alone with their thoughts, how are they going to develop self-awareness? Man, know thyself. When is this thing ever going to be able to sit down and develop self-awareness? When are they going to develop problem-solving skills? For how long are they going to outsource their problems for the internet to solve, artificial intelligence to solve, and things like that? And so when they now have real life, maybe relational issues, they want to look to those same sources to solve it for them. And I can tell you, the solutions they find on those sources can be catastrophic. When was the last time your teenager sat down without external entertainment and entertained themselves without a phone, without a television screen, without a video game? When was the last time you sat in your home and you guys just sang, from your heart, from your head, whatever songs came to your mind, and you do family karaoke sessions and things like that? When was the last time you had that kind of activity? If ever you have, create a time for it. Set tech-free times in your home and encourage your teenagers to get involved in self-led creative activities. There's so many of them. I talk about journaling a lot, where you sit down to think about your day, think about your week, and process the things that has happened to you over a specific period of time. Painting, I've mentioned painting. There's drawing, there's building something, there is solving something. That is until you reintroduce intentional downtimes, until you reintroduce boredom into your child's schedule, you're never going to help them achieve this. So how do you do this? Like I said, start by creating unstructured time. Not every moment needs to be scheduled. I said it in my session about overscheduling, that at least 30% of a child's time should be left unstructured. Not every moment needs to be scheduled. Allow some time where your child can figure out what they want to do. Oh, I'm bored. Okay, what are we going to do about it? What do you want to do? Encourage solitude, encourage quiet time, encourage reflection. Give them space to just think. Give them space to. So I adopted the term creative daydreaming because I don't like the word daydreaming on its own. All right, but you can have creative daydreaming where you allow your mind to explore things that they might not make any meaning. All right, they might not make any meaning, but somewhere along the line you're going to connect something to something. That unstructured, that reflection time is when your child is able to process life. Okay, I had a problem in my relationship at school. I have this friend who's disturbing me. How can I go about it? What can I do about it? And things like that. Reduce entertainment on demand. Reduce instant entertainment. Let entertainment be part of a schedule. Okay, we're going to see a movie at specific times within the week. We're going to do all of those other external entertainment sources should be structured. Limit passive activities, scrolling on the phone, watching on the screen. Replace them with activities that build skills. Writing, for instance, is part of those things you can include. Building, I mentioned that. Exploring, okay? Go out in the woods, go out in the grass, and see something new. Learn something you have never known about. Go learn about wildlife. See something outside of the screen. And then you, as a parent, I will always come to you and say, you have to model these conversations, these things that we're talking about. If your child sees you constantly busy and living on your screens and glued to one device or the other, they will do the same. Show them the value of downtime. Show them the value of quiet time. Let them see you gain mastery of these things, and you're sure that they will follow suit. Your teenager does not need more activities. They don't need more activities. They need more boredom. They need more downtime. And so you need to bring back unstructured time to help them unlock their creative potentials. That's it on this session this afternoon. So, like I said in the beginning, when was the last time you heard your child say, I'm bored? When was the last time you allowed them sit quiet? quietly. And the next time it happens, what will you do? Drop a comment in the comment section. Don't forget to like this video, share it with someone who might need it. And before you leave, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so that you can always be reminded for when we share these videos. And by the way, have you joined the 30 days creativity challenge? Because if you have not, this could well be the best time for you to do. We have filled up one group for that challenge, and so we're filling up a second group, after which we'll be done, because we want to also carry as many persons as we can accommodate, because this is going to be a 30-day challenge, right? We want to do something that we can manage. So I'd like to see you on the other side of that challenge. But until then, keep being the best version of yourself and keep thriving.